Hello, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, and I am near the tide pool parking area here at Cabrillo National Monument at Point Loma. Today, I want to present a spotlight video today. Today's spotlight is on a plant you're not going to come across very much. Today's spotlight is on Shaw's Agave. And this is it right here. This is Agave shawii, variety shawii. It's one of at least two, I believe it's only two, one of two varieties of Agave shawii here in the world. So this one is the variety shawii, the typical Shaw's Agave. There's another variety down in Baja, California called Agave shawii variety Gold Maniana, and that will not be seen here in this video today. So today we're going to focus on this beautiful multiple rosette forming plant, and it is a member of the Agave family, Agavaceae. However, there has been some disagreement over the placement of families. There might be some that might place the Agavaceae in the Asparagus family, the Asparagaceae. But that is not going to be too much of the topic of discussion in this video. We've got to focus on this plant, a rare, local, endemic that barely enters the United States. Most populations of this plant are found in Mexico, in Baja, California. And here in Southern California, most specimens of this plant have been eradicated due to development and habitat loss. Mostly, again, due to development. So there are some agencies that are reintroducing this to a slightly wider range that it used to have here in very coastal southwestern San Diego County. The Torrey Pines State Reserve has initiated reintroduction programs to get this plant off and running, and you will see it occasionally at Torrey Pines. Though it has been a very long time since this plant was more widespread. So as you can see here, it is a perennial monocot. In other words, one seedling leaf per seed, as is all the Agavaceae. So it's like palms and grass and lilies. It is a monocot. And Shaw's Agave is a multiple rosette forming plant. And that's going to come into importance when we're going to discuss the life cycle of the plant. So as you can see here, the leaves are kind of wide. Most of the rosettes are kind of leaning off away from the parental root system, and they have very sharp teeth along the edges of the leaves. But you can see the leaves are kind of short, and a lot of the spines are either point forward or they point backwards. But this is not a plant you want to touch because it will hurt. And the leaves are very spiny tipped too. So we got this kind of light medium green, and of course around the spines it's a little purplish and grayish. And so what we're going to talk about now is something that happens in a lot of these Agave family and related plants, is that, as you can see, if you look closely, you can see kind of like wavy lines on the surface of the leaf. So what that is actually their leaf imprints from the previous leaves. So this leaf right here, if you look carefully, you can see the little wavy lines in the middle of the leaf. Those are the imprints of this leaf. So this older leaf has the imprints of this newer leaf when it was much more tightly packed, as you can see the center of this plant is. you see how tightly packed the apical meristem is of this plant. The apical meristem is the center growth point of the plant. So when the leaves unfurl, you will see the bud prints of leaves from above it. So you'll see that a lot on agave plants. So again, this is a very rare species. It is native to this area. This is one of the only places that native populations may be found here in San Diego County and in the United States. I'm pretty sure there's also been a reintroduction effort to broaden its distribution here in the area. So some of these might have been planted here as well. As you can see, like most other agave family plants like yuccas and stuff like that, they usually start as a single rosette, as you can see here. This one started out as a single rosette, and then with time, the roots will pop out new buds, and it will have multiple rosettes, as you can see here. So during the winter months, I believe during the winter months, I have yet to see this plant in bloom before. I've never been up to a plant in bloom, but they will send up these very fast growing stalks of flower buds that commonly get over your head, and at the top of them, very densely packed flowers that will turn into these chambered seed capsules that will release these black seeds on maturity. And then what happens is each individual rosette that produces the flower stalks and the fruits will die back. That is because it comes out of the apical meristem, the growth point, the continuation of the growth of the rosette. So what happens is after the fruits ripen and dry off, the stalk dies back down, and since the apical meristem produced that big huge inflorescence flowers, the death will continue to the center of the rosette. So each rosette that flowers will die that year. However, again, considering the fact that the root system produces multiple rosettes, it just means the death of the individual rosette. Now, there are agave plants, there are species of agaves that do produce single rosettes, and they will die after that has occurred. I believe there are. I know chaparral yucca, Hespero yucca whippley, which is a relative of this plant, has multi-rosette forms and single rosette forms, and the single rosette forms, the whole plant will die after the fruits have ripened. The multiple rosette ones will continue on, and each rosette will keep growing until it produces a flower stalk and will die. So luckily, these clump forming plants, the main plant will still persist, often for many, many, many years. So Shaw's agave, very rare endemic species that I am very pleased to present. I have seen this plant. I've seen this plant in, I believe I've seen it planted at Torrey Pines over by the lodge. So it's not that I haven't seen this plant before, but I haven't seen it in the wild. And I think I've seen them planted on Mount Helix in La Mesa. They seem to do well over there, and that's a little further inland. But their coastal habitat is here in sunny coastal sage scrub, maybe occasionally in openings in maritime chaparral, but definitely here in the open coastal sage scrub. So companion plants to Shaw's agave are California sagebrush, Artemisia californica, Rus integrifolia, lemonade sumac or lemonade berry. This plant here, this is California boxthorn, and this is Lithium Californicum. It's during its summer dormancy phase because it's usually dormant during the dry season. And this fleshy shrub here, called cliff spurge, Euphorbia misera. and other plants like Untitled Californica. You got populations of Opuntias, prickly pears, and you got Burgero cactus emery, the golden cereus, and a lot of other coastal sage scrub and maritime succulent scrub. So this is kind of turning into maritime succulent scrub because of the presence of more succulent plants, like a lot more cactus and cliff spurge. So I hope you enjoyed this little spotlight on an incredibly beautiful member of the maritime succulent scrub and coastal sage scrub communities. Very rare here in San Diego County. The beautiful Shaw's Agave shawii variety shawii. That will do it for my spotlight on plants. I hope you enjoyed this one, and hope it settles yet another piece of the puzzle of what we got growing here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on another spotlight video.